All right. Let's see. So Jimmy Dore is continuing to, create a backlash, or, you know, as he said, people are, everybody's shoveling shit at him into a backwind or a headwind or something like. So it's just blowing back at them. That's accurate. Um, so I feel a need to address just the fact that um, there's why I'm doing more videos on this topic, because like I'm actually partly doing this video about the topic of doing videos on this topic of Jimmy Dore and Aaron Mate being targeted by the kind of propaganda arm, the pseudo leftist propaganda arm of the deep state and Democratic Party, whatever. Because there were like Jordan Sheraton. Yeah, like he's from the thing, his show. I forget what it, honestly, sorry, I forget what his show was. I was actually subscribed to it. I realized it was one of the only leftist shows that I didn't hadn't canceled and unsubscribed from over the last year. But then I unsubscribed from it over this take because he uh was, I mean, it's almost similar to Kyle and whatever, where he has the same, and it's similar to the Vanguard, where they have basically the right takes, like in terms of the facts, I guess, but it's just all about their emphasis and their stance and their treatment of Jimmy. Um, there's just, I think a lot of these people, they just inherently look down on Jimmy because partly just because they treat him as the angry guy that, too impolite. You can't, he spoils all the, he's like, spoils the little tea party they're all trying to have, like I mean, not the tea party, but it's like a tea party, like they're all like sitting down with their little porcelain cups, and it's like, I feel like these podcasters, they forget. I mean, I don't know, like you can't have, honestly, like even if you have like within a show, if you can't disagree with the other people in the show, you can't be a very effective like political commentator or like commentary show, because that's very limiting, because that can happen a lot. And that's where I respect Jimmy, that he calls out his best friends when he has to, and he gives them credit where his credit is due. Like he's told like, here, let me plug this thing in. Sorry, they're on hold right now. All right, so Jimmy, like he, I mean, I differ with him on stuff, but like, he gives credit where credit is due, but he also will confront bullshit where it is, even in his friends. Like Aaron Mate, like Jimmy said, yeah, in a recent podcast interview, I forget if it was on Dabby Dabs or, sorry, I forget. I don't know. It was like a recent thing. He said that he was just talking about what a mensch like Aaron Mate is, and like what a great journalist he is. And he said he's like, I hope someday that I could be the man that Aaron Mate is. And but that's like it's like, and it's such a heartfelt way that he said it. Like it's such a like, kind of humble and solid thing to say. And even from somebody who himself arguably deserves quite a great deal of credit. But he has, a great respect for Aaron's work. And, but he'll also call Aaron out, like when Aaron starts shit-libbing about like Blue No Matter Who or something. Like, I don't know. He's like, well, we know at least, I think he thought at least Biden would be better than Trump because Trump's the devil or whatever. So, but Jimmy would call him out and he wouldn't parse words, like that's what you need. And that's why these people hate him, because they'll be having their little tea party and like, la la la, would you pass the jam, sir? And like Jimmy comes in like a bull in a china shop and starts actually calling it out and not just like going along to get along and shit like some of these people apparently do. Like they don't understand, like these are moral issues. Politics is moral, and moral outrage is a thing. Like it's like moral outrage has been central to leftists and basically oppressed and resistance working class discourse for like thousands of years. And it becomes so muted. It's like, oh, now we're in this modern time where we can just talk about everything abstractly. Like, yes, that's quite horrendous how they're killing all those brown people. I dare declare, right? But Jimmy comes out and he's like, no, these people are Nazis, like Joe Biden's a Nazi. Like anybody who like unironically supports him is a Nazi. They're murdering, Arabs. They're genociding a whole civilization there, a whole people. And so, yeah, like it's just interesting how so many of them they're trying to like signal different signals, like, because they've always tried to stay, all these people always tried to stay cool with Jimmy too. And, but they seem to always kind of, I don't know, I feel like they just always viewed themselves as the more enlightened, measured alternatives to him. So they get frustrated when he stays popular and is actually seen as, in some ways, more of a vanguard than they are. So anyway, like, like Jordan Sheraton, so he did this whole segment about calling this, what is this? Calling it TMZ, because TMZ is like a kind of whatever, like media that's just focused on like gossip and drama and salacious details about celebrities and stuff and their relationships with each other and stuff like that. So like they're saying like the fact that, I don't know if like a lot of the YouTube left apparently is making videos about this. And so Jordan Sheraton was like, how dare you, like, shame on you. And he just did an amazing, it's amazing how, like, Jimmy, without even mentioning these people, he's able to produce complete meltdowns. I mean, I guess the whole situation, but it's similar to the Kyle meltdown, or even the Anna Kasparian meltdowns that started this. But yeah, like, he was just, I mean, okay, he's doing actually a lot of great work. And maybe Kyle is too, right? Like, as far as, like, you know, leftist reporting, covering certain issues. He's dealing with something about the foreclosure crisis, so, you know, that's good. But he's apparently super resentful that, like, he's trying to get people to share his stuff. They're not sharing his stuff, but instead they're sharing the Jimmy thing. And for one thing, like, I think this is fairly new that it's become ramped up more. You know, like, it's been simmering since at least since Anna Kasparian first called Jimmy a grifter, like, a year ago or something. But, like, but it's, you know, but then it was kind of, like, simmering. And I mean, Jimmy was calling them out, as he well should, on his show. And that's the thing too, it's like, people who criticize doing videos about this, it's because it's either because they completely miss the point of why this is important, why we weed out saboteurs in the left, why we weed out, like, shitty, like, behavior in the left. It's either because they completely missed that point somehow because they're too caught up in something, or it's because they completely grasp that point and they don't want to be subjected to scrutiny, you know? Like, they're like, hey, everybody just follow your blue checks and follow your whoever you're following and subscribe to and whatever, and don't question them. Like, you know, like, because I can understand for some of them, just to even have, like, any shakeup within leftist YouTube, you know. I mean, that's why the anti-Trump thing is so helpful. If you can build a large enough segment of the population that is at least ostensibly anti-Trump, that's something that all these people can agree on, that they might not agree on anything else, even if they are very disingenuous in it. So it ends up not being very useful, and that's, like, maybe the case here. I don't know. But so, you know, this is important because it's democracy. It's like this is like the only democracy that, you know, that we can get at this moment. I mean, we can also, you know, we can do general strike, which Jimmy's always calling for. We can do stuff like that to try to voice our needs and our desires and whatever, and our opinions. But through, like, this, you know, challenging the quote unquote, like, leadership of the leftist podcast world. You know, this is like the internet age, and I guess, like, I don't know what segment of the population is into, like, watching these things. Like, apparently it's nothing compared to people who watch, like, PewDiePie or these things, like, have like 10 billion subscribers. But you know, for politics, for leftism, this is kind of like what there is nowadays, because damn sure, like, the mainstream isn't a thing. And I mean, I'm sure there are great local, like, leftist scenes and international publications and everything, but as something that's more unifying, I guess, like where everybody has access to it, or most people have access to it, or a lot of people have access to it. YouTube. So it's important, this is important that we know who's who, that people don't just continue simping for like people who are shady and are not fundamentally committed to leftism and not fundamentally committed to justice or just even just basic fucking decency. That's important. And I think like I would like to see, like Aaron Mate, Gray Zone, or somebody, maybe even somebody less directly connected to it, do like a real investigative report on like the way like the Young Turks and their satellite network of other people that either used to be part of the Young Turks or are somehow affiliated with them, like Kyle Kalinske, like Jordan Sheraton, I think. I don't know. There's a bunch of them that are somehow like they're on a better algorithm, and like apparently they were getting their dislikes deleted. Like Kyle Kalinske was getting his dislikes deleted, and Jimmy was saying that's probably because he's on the Young Turks algorithm, because he's part of their like official network within YouTube, and so they have an official person that like talks to YouTube for them, and like they get the premium deluxe YouTube basically. So that's interesting because that's how they superficially shitlib the left, by promoting. Like YouTube does this too, like it's just all like of a piece, like the whole whoever, all the people funding the Young Turks, they're all promoting this, they're all shit-libbing the left, they're trying to drown out authentic voices by promoting this, or certainly that's the result, by and I think largely that is the intention, to promote this basically right wing, but certainly but a little bit of like liberalism thrown in sometimes, but mostly like disingenuously. Like, I don't know what the Young Turks are now, it's like it's disgusting. So anyway, like I just think for Jordan Sheraton, also like even I don't know, I just seen other YouTubers like shitting on this as that like it's somehow unclean, like people shouldn't be talking about it, we shouldn't be making videos about it. This is between them. They're friends, okay? They're friends. What a friend does to a friend is between a friend and a friend. No. I mean, if they both agree that, if they say stay out of it, guys, this is between us, then okay. But it was made public by Kyle because Jimmy had the audacity to like a tweet that was critical of him in a way that he thought was unfair. And like didn't even like call him any name or anything. It was just critical in some way that he found unfair, and so he like melted down and said, "Oh, I'm gonna do a segment, and then you'll see." Okay, but it's like I haven't been following like all the permutations of this, but it's my understanding that a lot of basically almost everybody in the Young Turks network. So there's John something, I don't know, like bunch of people. Also Vosh, I'm sure, like came down against Jimmy Dore. pretty sure. But you know, like that's kind of a given. But like, but also, you know, a lot of people that were more of a surprise, like the Vanguard, their very weird approach to it was, you know, I unsubbed from them over that. I unsubbed from, I don't know, maybe a couple other things. But anyway, like, anybody who minimizes the importance of the left, like, actually figuring out if its supposed leaders in the YouTube world are, you know, shady or are legit, or, you know, like, to say that this is unimportant, like, oh no, we shouldn't have infighting. First of all, anybody who calls this leftist infighting, I mean, I guess maybe you could call it, I could understand that for regarding a lot of these, but like certainly between Jimmy Dore and the Young Turks, it's disingenuous to call it, or it's just wrong to call it leftist infighting, because the Young Turks have, you know, they've gone beyond the point that they can be considered leftist. They're, you know, right-wing, war hawk, and authoritarian, you know, pro-censorship, etc. I mean, there's got to be a limit. You know, they shit on the Palestinians. They say, oh, it's because they're just fighting over their sky gods. Like, if that's not a red line for the left, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, we expect the shitlibs to do this stuff. We're trying to put a line and say, what if we could be separate and not be shitlibs and behave differently and actually, you know, take people to task that behave like the worst type of shitlib. Like what, I mean, certainly, like, again, the Young Turks, they're not really left anymore, if they ever were. But for all the people chiming in that have even more pretensions to being leftist, but are so concerned to, like, be neutral in this, you know, like, this, like you shouldn't dismiss the importance of all of us weighing in and hashing this out and taking them to task, and and that we should have a real reordering of YouTube, you know, the podcastocracy, and, you know, like genuine leftists, the populist left, which is to say, like, the actual left, the non-shit libs, the people who are not just, you know, shit libs or like PC narrow kind of, you know, ideologues. You know, we need to figure out who we can trust, or at least who we don't know. Like, at least find people who have not, like, shown us completely and utterly how terrible they are. Like, and that's increasingly for much of the supposed, you know, leftist YouTube. I mean, I don't know. I haven't had time to, like, watch a million videos or whatever, but it's my understanding that a lot of people have, you know, like, a lot of people just still have to talk shit about Jimmy Dore in this. Like, if I've gone off on Jimmy Dore when I've been against him on stuff, right? I'll do another video sometime if that's an issue, like, if that's what he's talking about, if that's what's going on. But in this, it's like the need to just still stick in some little, but, you know, like, and just how seriously they take these things, like how that can outweigh anything, like that, that he, and it, you know, I saw it coming, like, as soon as as I was watching him talk, like I could see that, you know, like the way he's talking about it is a bit more um it's not conditioned towards the woke or the like politically correct modern sensibilities, so that I could see that potentially he would get shit for it. But in a way, it's good that he is, you know, that kind of, that he was just, I don't know. I could say like it's potentially good in that it's just exposed all these people that how they prioritize things. Because, you know, it's not like as Jimmy said, like he never made a deal out of it. He never told anybody about her, how she dressed. He never talked to her about how she dressed. He didn't care. He really didn't care. And like